Location. All right, got it. Now let's see if we go back. It's trying. I feel really good about it this time.
Everybody should just pop on Zoom instead. It's easier.
See, now it's not letting me, it's kind of weird. It's not letting me go back over to Zoom, but you can hear me and see me, right?
Mm-hmm. I think
Okay.
Zoom is easier than Facebook.
Well, I'm on Facebook, but now I can't get, there's the bar. There it is.
I'm in Zoom.
There we go. Yes. Well, I could see you on Facebook Live, but I'm back in Zoom. Okay. I think we are live. Check. We're live on Facebook. You can hear me. Yay. And here we are. This is Monday. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me, Adrian, and all of you. I hope you can pop back on live. Sorry I had to disconnect. Wasn't going to work out this morning. And happy Monday. I am back with you with Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I wasn't here last week. I was on vacation, got moved into my new house. Still boxes everywhere. If you've moved, you know what that's like. And then wondering why I have so many things. But we are good to go. And I'm excited to be back. And hope you had a wonderful week full of productivity and fun things. And we're going to talk about receiving on page 262, 263. And we have we've talked about earning $1 million in the triangle, and we have moved into receiving $1 million. And we talked about you, right? And working in your 20% and the choices you make every day and a daily worksheet. That's what we talked about last. And then we're going to talk about when your money works for you and start that process. So on page 263, it shows you the triangle we've been talking about and where we've gone up. So you can see the 3Ls, the 3L model, which in this several pages, it brings up again, leads, listings, and leverage, right? Our core thing, leads. If you don't have enough leads, nothing else matters. Focus on listings and then implement leverage when you need that, right? So you can see the tiers here, and we're up here at the top. And this is in the kind of the revisionary conversations that I've had in leadership meetings about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You may or may not know, I'm going to put Vu in here. Welcome, Vu, to the Zoom. And you may know that they've actually added another thing to the top of this. So while you have think like $1 million, right? You've earned $1 million, you've netted $1 million, and you actually received $1 million. The top of it is you give $1 million. So over time, agents said that was like the pinnacle, the point of this is once you get through that, then you are blessed enough to give $1 million, kind of Oprah Winfrey style, right? Everybody gets a car. Giving it away is the biggest joy. So that's the top of the tier for the new model of that pyramid. So talking about money working for you, because it says Gary Keller started a lawn mowing business when he was young. I thought that was very interesting that he wanted to make some money. So he went door knocking and he made a flyer. And he had his own tagline, and that tagline was, "You grow it, I mow it." So Gary started out at a young age being entrepreneurial and quickly had 8 to 9 yards to mow and trim each week. And then his family wanted to go on vacation. Do you guys take vacations in your business? You try, right? We know the old adage, if you plan a vacation, that is a surefire way for everybody to come out of the woodwork in your database to say, "Hi, I need you to help me this week," right? That's going to happen. So this happened to Gary. His family wanted to go on vacation and he didn't want to lose that business. And he'd had a friend that kept saying, "Hey, if you ever get tired of this, please give me some of this business." So Gary decided that he would capitalize on the leverage piece. And he asked this guy to mow the yards for $10 each. And he was very willing and he did the thing. But what Gary didn't tell him was that he was making $15 a yard. So when he did the thing, Gary was making $5 and he was giving 10 of it away to be able to take time off to go with his family. But he still made like $40 at the end with doing nothing. And he was like, I need to get more yards to mow, right? I need to make more money. I can make some more money doing this, right? So there's that example of getting some time where you're not active all the time in the business and you've got some kind of passive income. Now it does talk about that even though it's passive, you still have to be active in the business. You can't leave the business alone. So Gary realized that at an early age. And he was like, I learned, especially he mentions Robert Kiyosaki. If you guys heard of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? That same concept of being a business owner or working in the business and how that shifts your mindset. And those teachings came into that and receiving more money. You work for money or your money works for you, right? And that's the concept. So on page 264, there's another figure here that shows you working for money or money working for you. Gary, don't you just love Gary and how he puts these simple pictures together for us to understand what the concept is? And I love that on the next page, he talks about a little bit about how you work for money and how long it takes you to actually save money and invest money and create some income from that, and how much money you have to have. And I saw an interesting, in several of the classes, I believe it's the ALC clinic, where they're talking about profit share. And, the company gives back, the investors give back part of their money that they earn every month in profit share for those who help grow the company. And the concept is that together, we all rise together. We want to help each other, all of the things. And how much money you would have to create that much income in an investment world versus profit share. So stay tuned, because I intend to do some profit share classes that you can pop into and learn more about that and how to work that. So it shows you how much, how much after-tax money would you need invested to generate the following monthly pre-tax income if you were looking to make some passive income and let your money work for you. If you invested $9,000 at 5%, you would get $37.50. Well, we know that that's like two people going out to Burger King right now, right? So that's not gonna create a huge effect in your world. And over time, you would need $960,000 invested at 5% to have $4,000 a month in income. So this is talking about how to ramp up the money that you're making and create more money for you as you go through. And it says even a disciplined agent who sets aside $10,000 a year before taxes would still have to wait 15 years to amass $100,000 in total after-tax savings. So this is a great chapter to dive into. And I'm going to stop talking a minute. I don't know if you guys were able to go through this chapter. What thoughts do you have around the first few pages when it talks about money working for you?
Leverage is the most important key.
Leverage is the most important key.
It is. Once we learn our business, we need to learn how to leverage. And I think that's a huge mistake that I made when I had my other business, is that I kind of got the concept, but I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't have the tools to do it. And that's something that we're learning here at Keller Williams, is actually not just understanding the concept, but being able to implement it. And I think that's where our leadership and like reading this book helps us to realize that we can, even as a solo agent, we can learn how to leverage ourselves.
And I think that it's through the journey of this book and talking about just how you think, and then the models and the systems to set it up, and then getting toward the end and talking about having to train people that's work that are going to be in your organization, and you set your organization up. It is key to know that you don't just set it and forget it. Like, your business doesn't just totally run without you. You still have to be engaged in it. It's not completely passive income, right? Now profit share is, but this is not, right? So I think that you're right. Learning how to do the leverage and giving it away is the hardest part at the front end. But then when you give that away and you set those standards, that helps you to start creating what Gary Keller saw in the beginning. Hey, I just need to go find more yards to mow, right? I need to find more yards to mow, and I don't mind giving away most of it to people that, if they're mowing the yards to my standards, right? They're making sure the customer's happy. Then I can create the business where I'm not mowing the yard, somebody else is. right? It's the same thing. I thought that was a really great story or example for him in the very beginning. So working on the business instead of in the business on page 266, it says when you receive $1 million a year from your business without having a job in the business, two things must happen. So to get to that place, first, you must gross a lot more than $1 million a year, right? And that's that gross, that GCI. And you must hire someone who can run the business at the level you did. So you have to find somebody to replace you who's very passionate about how the business runs, but you still have to hold them accountable. And that is a prerequisite if you want to achieve passive income as a millionaire real estate agent and be able to let the business run and you receive, that money from that yard mow, right? Somebody else is doing it at the highest level like you would do and setting that example up. So it says, you should know that you don't necessarily have to net $1 million to make the move to business owner and passive income. For example, if your business were netting you $200,000 a year and you could hire someone to run it for you for $100,000 a year, you'd have a business that netted you $100,000 a year. And if you're doing that and that works for you and that funds your world and you're not running you're not working in it, you're working on it, then that's a win. It doesn't have to be $1 million. It can be whatever you need it to be. Just like Gary's $5 a yard, right? I need more yards. That I got $40 and I didn't do anything that week. Hey, I took a vacation too. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So, if you are looking to retire or move into some other endeavor, you can turn your $200,000 job into a $100,000 a year passive income source. That's a wonderful way to maintain your freedom to make other choices of what you're going to do. I know there's a lot of people that are in Keller Williams Network that have done that have taken their real estate business over here and set it up with the right people, the right training. They followed the models and they're making enough money out of that. And they've gone over here and done something else. And they're able to run all of those businesses and create that income from them. So at the bottom of 267, here's another lovely model. It says, before I can introduce you to the 4 issues, there's 4 issues of receiving $1 million. Point out the business owner, you'll be challenged to work on your business instead of in it. And what's the difference in that? As Michael Gerber explains in his book, E-Myth, that's a really good book if you haven't read it, E-Myth by Michael Gerber. In is when you're doing the actual day-to-day work of the business. On it is when you're doing the work of planning and building the business. So working on it is setting up, how the business is going to run and who's going to run it, and then hiring and retaining the people to do that. So the difference between in and on is the difference between a focus on what I do to achieve the goals of my business, and a focus on what others will do to achieve the goals of the business. So that's in, others are on, and the figure 5 shows you that. So right here at the bottom, it says in. So you're setting and doing all the standards. You're doing it. I do it. Individual agent, right? I do everything. Then next, we do it together, right? I'm managing you. I'm the manager, and then we're all working together, and you maintain standards and share the doing. So somebody else is sharing in the doing with you. And then the accountability to the standards is when others are doing it. So that's like Gary's example. I've hired the mower's doing the things. I told him how I need it to be done. I'm holding him accountable and making sure he's doing it. And then I'm collecting money. So others are doing it, I'm not. At the beginning, he may be doing the yard mowing too, right? He's got somebody mowing yards, he's still mowing yards. So it's that same concept of where you're working in it or on it. And I do it, we do it, or others do it. So you can measure where you are right now. A lot of you might be working, in the business, and some of you are working on the business with others in the business with you. So as much sense as it makes to transition from in to on, the act of letting go and letting others run the business is a difficult challenge for most people. And that's on page 268. So he recognizes that that's the thing, that's the growth opportunity to get better as you grow your skills on that piece. That's how you're going to move into that next arena with creating passive income and letting money work for you. So there's 4 issues of receiving $1 million, and we'll talk about the first one there. The 4 issues that are the difference between jumping from business owner to receiving $1 million or receiving that passive income is understanding the difference between that passive isn't truly passive. Right. And so your business will still require you to be involved and having attention, just in a different way. And I think Boo had to leave. He said, sorry, we're starting our class. Thanks. Bye, Boo. Thanks for joining us. Right. And then the opportunity to have a 7-level business. And we'll go into, and we'll dive into next week. There, you're going to see examples of what a 7-level business looks like when this book was written. And I have an updated version for you based on Gary Keller discussing and talking to, continuously talking to people that are in real estate and how they're running their business with leverage and letting others do it, and working on the business. You'll see those examples of how you can scale that and choose how you move into those pieces next. The 3 key hires of a millionaire business, and we'll talk about recruit, train, consulting key. Those are things you'll have to learn to do. And then what your role and responsibilities are when you move into letting others work and letting money work for you, and what that looks like. So it says on page 269, active versus passive. So active income is when you work for money, and passive income is when money works for you. And they're opposite ends of the spectrum. But what it also says is that you still are going to have to work in your business. There's never going to be a time where you're just going to, you found Susie and she's amazing and you can do whatever you want and you never check into your business. Because I love what it says over here, that if you are not connected and you're disconnected, then your business is going to fall apart. Be warned, absentee ownership usually equals business demise. And you know what? Isn't that true wherever you are in your business, whether you are just you by yourself or you and others doing the business? Absentee ownership equals business demise. And it's easy to be an absentee owner without even having anybody else to manage. So when you're not working in your business every day, your business does not exist, right? Anything left alone eventually falls apart, no matter where you are. And what happens is we can't pay our real estate dues that are coming up soon, right? MLS. We can't pay our G-Card dues because we've not had our business stores opened enough. We haven't been open for business. And we have tried to let our business just run itself, and it doesn't happen.
Well,
Sure.
I think another point to that too, which might be a different topic, is that people that have had businesses and started businesses and somebody took over, they did not have their eye on their business.
Yes. So maybe somebody who wanted to transition and let someone buy the business from them and they were paying them for it. Is that what you're saying?
No, if you build this business and you're not engaged in your business and you're not overseeing your business, it's a quick way for someone to either be taking money out of the till, and in our case, they could be stealing the business. You don't know that they're doing business, that it's not coming through the business, it's going straight to them. You know, businesses that get taken over every single day, and or they lose money because they're not actively involved, and so they really don't know what's going on. And to me, that's huge.
Exactly right. I think that you were spot on, Adrian, with that, especially when you talk about they can be taking money out of your business, right? Diana Kokoska, was the head of Matt's Coaching when she was a real estate agent. She was a woman of a lot of firsts, like a first woman to start a team where she was in Denver, Colorado. But she also had a lot of rental properties, and she had someone managing those for her, and she wasn't holding them accountable. She wasn't checking in on that. And what happened was the person that was taking care of all those doors was stealing money from her. They were collecting the money and they weren't paying the mortgage that Diana held. So Diana was at a board meeting. She was at the board of realtors in that area, and she came out and she couldn't find her car. They thought it was stolen. Well, what happened was it got repossessed because the person handling all of her money was stealing from her.
So I call it keeping the honest people honest. We all have a price. For some of us, it's higher, yes, but we still have, everybody can be bought, just at what price. So I just say keep the honest person honest, and those are the checkpoints we need to have.
Absolutely. Checkpoints for everything that you want to hold accountable, and don't just think you have the business running. It might run and hum for a little bit, and then it's going to not go into patterns that you've probably set because you're not engaged in it. I love that. So that's one of the things that you have to look at when you are going to do this, and you're going to let someone work, you're going to work on the business and not in it. It also talks about dollars per hour and figuring that out on the page before. And it says, I bring focus to my work, and I seek to create cash flow and passive income from businesses and projects that I own, and working fewer hours and making more money. And as you go through and figure out, how much you make per year, and then how many hours a week you're working, if you're tracking that, you can find out how much you're worth per hour. And I remember Charlotte Mabry coming and teaching a class when I was in Cleveland, and she talked about this book and how for a long time she didn't read the book. And then she really started reading it and rereading it and focusing on it. Now, this is Charlotte Mabry, you guys. And she could tell us how much per hour she was worth. Like, she told us. And then I was like, oh gosh, she's spending an hour and more with us, and this is how much her time is worth. She knows exactly what she's worth because she's figured it out. And it talks about it here on page 270. So you can figure out how much per hour you're worth. And as you grow your business, that's going to go up, right? You're going to be able to create a higher per hour rate based on the more money you make and the less hours that you work. So I thought that was a big aha when we talked to her. She also talked about a financial thermometer, which came from Bold, because she'd been to Bold several times, and that we all have a financial thermometer. And if you don't raise that, you're never going to go past it. And some of that's mental, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out. We don't have a date or anything, but I know Bold is coming in August. So if you've not taken Bold, make sure you think about it, right? Because I've gone through it multiple times. You're going to be a different person in a different season. You'll get something different out of it every time. And for Charlotte, that was one of the ahas she had in Bold. And then this book, reading it over and over. Like one time through it, it's not enough, even though it's not super fun, right? It's a little bit technical. So don't go AWOL in your business, and then start thinking about working on your business and not in it, if that is for you. And you can do that at any level, whether you're wanting to be a millionaire real estate agent, or you just want to create $100,000 where you're not working 60 hours and 70 hours and it's all just you, right? There's a path to that starts with how you think right from the very beginning of the book. So guys, I look forward to, my goal is to finish this because we're so close. And the last few pages are really good because it talks about your energy and it talks about putting it all together. And then we're going to move into the one thing book. So if you don't have the one thing book, it's not as big as this. It's a little easier, but it's a focus book and it's going to be fabulous. So get the book, read the book, listen to the book on Audible. There's probably books at the front desk in that little store, right? And let's go through that together because I look forward to that. And there's a great networking class today, later on today, with Jay Hudson, turning networking into sales. Hope you've signed up for that. If you haven't, there's still time. Look on our closed group and click the link and join us for that. Jay does a great job and he'll give you some good nuggets. Guys, we're going to have a great week, and I'm glad to be back, and I've missed you guys and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Adrienne, for being on here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. All right. See you later.
Bye.